All right, welcome everybody. This is Maripol here from Toronto. And tonight we're in for a treat. We have the beautiful Jasmine who's gonna share some wonderful information about, obstacles we go through and challenges we go through. So I will turn over the whole screen to Jasmine so she could enlighten us. There you go, Jasmine. Welcome everybody, and especially those on, I forgot to mention those on Facebook. I'm just gonna keep an eye on them. So there you go, Jasmine, it's all yours.
Excellent, thank you. Thank you for that introduction and welcome everyone. Great to be here with you. For those of you that have been in the business for a while, I'm going to invite you to participate. Tonight is going to be interactive. I've got a framework of things that I would like to address and cover with you. And at the same time, I'm also asking you, and we're going to open the floor for other people to give ideas and share on what has worked with you when you're dealing with people that have objections, and whether it's with prospecting, with their customers, with themselves, or with their team. So welcome everyone, and great to have you here. And for those of you that are new, this is going to be a great session to learn how to work through those things. And like I said, there's going to be lots of ideas shared here. Hopefully that people, like I said, will come on board and tell us what worked for them. So the first thing with overcoming objections and obstacles, the number one thing is that how you present yourself and how you come across. Everything that we say and that we do comes from within. Our attitude, the way that we look at things, our outlook, just about ourselves, the business, what the products can do, what the potential is, the integrity of the company, the success rate, our posture, how we present to others. That is the bottom line, most important thing that we can do, because people will get involved with the business because they know you, they like you, and they trust you. They may not even know you. It may be a new prospect, but because they like you and they trust you in the way that you present yourself, they will be drawn to you. So that's the first thing that it's all about with regard to overcoming any of those objections or obstacles, because they won't even be an issue. One of the things that also that I've learned over the years is that people have an outlook and this thing in their life where they say, if I have whatever and I get to do whatever it is, then I will be. For example, people say, if I had $1 million, then I would get to travel or live in my dream home, and then I will be happy. So people operate often from that place of have, do, and be, then they'll be happy. In reality, when you talk to people, whether they are diamonds and max, or whether they're successful in whatever they've done, or whether they have a wonderful relationship with people that are near and dear to their heart, it's not coming from have, do, and be. It's the actual opposite. It's who are they being, what are they doing, and then in the end, what do they have? So for example, if you start with this mindset that I am going to be happy, I'm going to be focused, I'm going to be committed. So that's who you're being, your actual essence of your person and your being is that. What will you do? You're going to do the daily activities that it takes to make this happen. You're going to plan, you're going to set goals. And as we know, you plan, you set the goals, you reevaluate and figure out what's working or not working. And then you establish again your goals for the next month. And you're going to execute on whatever those tasks and actions that you've put in place. And then what are you going to have? Then you're going to have the life of your dreams. So it starts with who am I being? What am I doing? And then in the end, what is it that I have? So again, a little shift on how we look at that. And maybe some of us have already done that and we understand that. That's really important to share with new people as your team starts to grow and you have people that are coming on board. And with that, the next thing I just want to put out there is, does everyone have a dream board? I know that we used to do dream boards, that we did them, that we would make them and they were on cardboard and then or Bristol board. So do you have your dream board? And now people are doing them virtually. They do them online because they take their photos and they put it on their laptop and they've got it on a screen. If somebody doesn't have a dream board, I really, really encourage everyone to have a little get together, whether again, we used to do them that we would have dream board parties and we would get together, or whether you do it online. It's a really exciting thing to do. Most of us that have dream boards look and go, oh my gosh, that and that and that and that has all been achieved. And I mean, anybody here, you know, put up a little hand and wave and say, you know, that you've experienced those things on your dream board actually became your reality. So one of the things when you have your dream board, you start to manifest and you start to actually draw that into you. It's just, you put it out in the universe and it comes to you. One of the things you have to be really, really careful. I remember years ago that I met somebody and they did a dream board and they always wanted a Cadillac. But when they went to a magazine or the car dealership, they cut out a picture because all they had was a yellow Cadillac. That was the picture. And they put that yellow Cadillac picture on their dream board. Well, guess what happened when the time came a few years later to go buy a Cadillac? Nothing else felt right. It didn't look right. It's just they had envisioned this for so long that they ended up buying a yellow Cadillac. They even had to get it custom ordered. It wasn't something that they ever thought they would have. So be really careful what you put on your dream board because you will manifest it to be your reality. So that's, anybody want to add anything with regard to that? Because that's just the introduction, the opening about everything comes from within and our attitude. Anybody have anything that they'd like to add with the experiences that you've had? The floor is open. If not, I shall continue. Okay, I don't see anybody's hand up. So, okay, next thing. So we're going to start with the challenges and maybe some of you hear objections that you encounter when you're prospecting. So the first area that we're going to talk about is prospecting. Often there's 5 different areas that I've written down. Number 1, people will say, I don't have enough time. And as soon as people say they don't have enough time, that's such an easy opener to say, that's exactly why you want to do this, because of the fact that we are running, we're doing too many things. We feel that we're worn out and exhausted. So what about if you rearrange some of the things that you do? And actually, it's interesting because some teams, what they do is they go and meet with their new associate and they'll say, or their prospect, as they're just before they become an associate, and they go, before they meet, it's like, keep track. It's almost like a diary of what you do over the course of a week. So they would, before they met with whoever their sponsor was, they would have written down literally Monday at 7 o'clock, I wake up. Then I do my morning routine. Then I have breakfast. Then I leave the house at 8:30 to go to work. And then this and then that. And then over my lunchtime, I do this. And then I come home. And then after dinner, when I clean up, that they might sit and watch TV. Sometimes they might have some commitments that they have to drive, you know, children to sports events. So they actually start looking at the end of that week, because it's done for a week, what is it that they could give up? And there is often a lot of time that people do that they waste, whether it's scrolling on their phone and they're doing the social media, but just like scrolling, whether it's watching TV, whether it's doing things that are mind numbing that actually don't get them ahead. So they start looking for windows because all you're looking for is there a half an hour each day that somebody could put into their max business. And then that half hour might turn into an hour in a few days and then half hour the other days. But what you're doing is you're actually looking for windows. And the big thing is that that's what this is all about. Imagine that somebody got to the point where they were, and I'm going to give an example, they were making an extra 10 or 15,000, 20,000 US a month. Would they not all of a sudden be able to open up their time because they're going to let go of those things, the commitments that they have right now? Big one is work. So not enough time. You go through it with them and just personally look at them and their life and where can they carve out little windows of time. Number 2, not enough money to start. That's a big thing. One of the things, again, that I talk about to prospects is the difference between this and whether it's setting up a business or this and setting up getting active in other network marketing companies, we have such little startup cost. I mean, basically you're buying, you might be buying a package for $5.49, you might be buying the one for $9.99, but you can come in with 2 products. So you start at the top and then work your way down to whatever is their reality right now. And what if somebody, I mean, I'm sometimes really direct with people. And it's like, do you really want this? They know that they are stuck, they're frustrated, they're not happy with their life, and they don't see a way out because they're already burnt out from whatever they're doing. And then I will ask them, is there anything that you think that you can sell, that you can get rid of, that you can do something to get some additional like money, that you actually will have some cash flow? And in reality, there are people that own like 3 and 4 TVs in their house. They don't need 3 and 4 TVs. So that's sometimes like, you've got to be really gentle, but put it out there as a possibility and let them process that and let them meander. Because again, it's like, how bad does somebody really want this? When they don't know anyone, somebody else, the third objection is people say, I don't know anyone. In reality, there are, I think now we're up to like 7 billion people in the world. There are tons and tons of people for them to get in contact with. I mean, we have all kinds of lists of ideas to get in touch with people. But I mean, our circle is huge. It's whether, again, how big is your belief that you can actually project that belief onto them? How much do they really want it? As you know, sometimes we hear Les Brown say, how hungry are you? So those are the things that you can actually help somebody work through. Too expensive, the products are too expensive. That's a big thing about value. Whether they don't value their health, whether they don't value because they don't know the science behind these products. I mean, I know myself, I used to have a drawer that I used to, oh my stars, I'll bet you I had in that drawer 15 or 16 different things that I took. I don't need to take 15 or 16 things. So actually it ends up that it's less when you look at the cost of taking Cellgevity and perhaps Infuse every day compared to all those other things. Number 5, another big objection that sometimes you hear from people is that I've tried this before, I've tried this business model before, and network marketing just doesn't work. Or maybe they didn't even try it, but it's like they know somebody that's tried it. They'll say it didn't work and they lost their shirt off their back. They lost like so much. And it's like, you know, $5,000 or $10,000, or, you know, so-and-so, my uncle, you know, my ex-husband's, you know, whatever, in another country got scammed. And these, so basically, when that comes up, that's a real objection for them, but it needs to be addressed. So I will always say to them, tell me more, tell me what happened. And a lot of times it's not, they don't really know. It's just something that they imagine or a story that they heard. So really it's like, tell me more, what happened to them, what happened to you? And then we know that the next step is, I know how you feel. I felt the same way, and this is what I found. But again, coming from sincerity, because we know that this is going to give them a better life. Anybody have anything else to add on any of those objections or some objections that they've heard when they're prospecting? Anybody have anything or any ideas that you've come up with that I haven't included here that you want to share with everyone else? Are there, Marie, do you see? Marie Paul, I don't see any hands up. Let me just check in the chat. Nope. Okay.
No, and I don't have anything from Facebook Live either.
Okay. All right. So on we go. The next thing is 3-way calls. 3-way calls are super important. They're really important to connect your prospect to your upline and to your support and to your support system for 2 reasons. One, I really want them to know that they're not in this alone. Not only do they have my support, but they also have my business partner's support, so that they know that. That's really important for them to know that they're not in this alone. And that, again, that this is very different, because I'm sure that you've heard, if you've been in Max for a little while at all, you've heard people say, oh yeah, I signed up, and then there were my sponsor or my upline was nowhere to be found. So I want them to know that this is very different, that this is not the typical their previous experience with network marketing. One of the things that I say and I love about Max is that everything that ever sucked about network marketing, Max has gotten rid of it. So I love that because I really feel strong in that position that we are very unique and we have a totally different opportunity for people. So when we have three-way calls, sometimes people have said to me and my team, it's like, I don't even know how to introduce the idea of my prospect connecting with you. I don't even know how to start that conversation. And again, it's back to our posture and back to our position, because really what we want to do is we want to move them forward a little bit, get a little bit more information, move them forward. They get a little bit more insight. I mean, it starts off with the videos. Then there's a follow-up, then that three-way call, and then maybe there would be an online Zoom meeting, and it just moves through that like that. But the three-way calls, people get stuck sometimes. And so when I'm doing a three-way call with someone, it's back to our posture. It's not like, would it be okay, or is it okay if I arrange to have my business partner come on and answer your questions? As soon as you get in that position, you've now weakened your stand because you're asking them for permission. What you really want to do with that three-way call, and what I say to them, is that I want you to see this from another perspective or from another point of view. I'm going to introduce you to someone who has flown all over the world, and he's going to share how it has impacted other people's lives. And even in third world countries, the difference that it's made for them, the change that it's made for them on so many levels. So it's sharing that they're going to actually, the benefit is that they're going to have a more fuller experience by hearing another perspective. Back to posture. When I talk to people about setting up the three-way call, I will say things like, does it work for you if I call tomorrow at such and such a time? Or what if I call you tomorrow at 7? It's about being suggestive, putting that seed in place, that you're actually putting it out there for them to say, yes, that time slot doesn't work, but if not, here's another time slot. If I say to them, is it okay if I call you? Again, now it sounds like I'm asking them to do something that's going to benefit me. This is really about benefiting them. And one of the things I remember sharing with people that I just found so unique about Max, when I first got started and Chris and Tammy were coming to my home and doing in-homes, and my checks started coming in, one of the things that I realized is that Chris and Tammy had to help me earn $1,000 per month. And for that, they got $150. But you do that over and over and over. And that's, again, what I love about our marketing plan and our business model, is that it comes from the right behaviors. I have to help you make $1,000. And then for that, I would get $150, but you do that over and over. And then there's a residual income. So you're actually helping somebody else more than you initially are helping yourself. So just, again, it's about where you're coming from. So it's not, is it okay if I call you? I sound really meek when I say that. So it's about being confident and being assured, and just, saying, what if I call you tomorrow at 7? And just put it out there. And then they'll say, again, if 7 doesn't work, they'll give me another time or another day. And I'm just thinking, from another context, imagine if you had a mortgage and you went to, and after you get your mortgage all organized, that your bank says to you, is it okay, are you okay to pay your mortgage payment? Or would you be okay to make your payments on a monthly basis? You're not asking permission. You're letting them know that they need to pay their mortgage. We need to take that stand about, this is what you need to do, again, because it's all about that big vision, and it's an expectation. I expect to own my house, and I expect to pay my mortgage. And it's not like, do I want to? Do I not want to? Is it something that is is an option. It's not an option. So again, it's all finding about from the very beginning, what is their dream? Where do they want to go and where do they want to be? Okay, so that is a little bit about three-way calls, a little bit about customers. So now you've got customers on board. The first thing that I will always, oh, and before I go on, anybody have anything that they want to say or add that you want to share with others? Because I know there's a lot of wisdom out there. I know that there's a lot of good experiences that everybody's had. So I just want to keep opening the floor. So, okay, we're good. On I go. And we can always add it at the end if something comes up for you. With customers, when I have customers start with the products, the first thing that I mean, obviously I've talked about the products. They've probably watched some product experience videos. They've been to a Zoom presentation. They've heard some testimonials. That once they decide that they're going to order the products and then they're going to try them for themselves, the first thing that I say to them is that, will you commit to taking these products for 3 months? And I'm right straight with them. I go, because if you're not, don't even start taking them. Because I explained to them, our life cycles have, our cells have a life cycle. And it takes 3 months in our body for that cell to die off and get replaced. And you've got to give it the full 3 months for every one of these new cells to be integrated with high levels of glutathione. If you're not willing to do that, don't even try, don't even start. And then I remind them too that it's taken X number of years sometimes for things to get to the condition that they are with their health. So you've got to at least give it 3 months to give it a chance to get better. So that's sometimes it's sort of like getting the objection out of the way so that you don't have to deal with that after the first month that they say, oh, it didn't work or whatever. So they've already got in their mind that they're going to take it for 3 months. One of the things too that I've learned just as I'm talking about this, that came up for me is that somebody will say, well, I have arthritic pain, I have back pain. And so they want that to be what helps to improve that condition that they have. One of the things that I explain to people is that that your hands are sore or that your back is sore, but you don't know what's going on in your body with all your organs. And when you raise your glutathione, there could be something going on that you're unaware of with your liver or your kidneys or your heart, or that, your arteries and stuff. Your body knows where you need to have the glutathione levels elevated first, and it will go to that which is more critical. And from your perspective, you're not feeling anything externally on your muscles or your joints, but what's going on internally is incredible. So again, just remind people of all the benefits that they're going to get from it. And we'll talk about that a little bit more later, just as a review. So now we've gone through the prospecting, we've gone through the customers. Anybody have anything that they want to add that they would talk to their customers about, or that they have talked to their customers about? Any objections that you've heard from your customers that you weren't sure how to handle? Anybody have anything? Let me go into the chat. Okay, you guys are like,
I have one, a recent question from one of my customers. I knew how to handle it, but I just want to hear your perspective. Here in Canada, we pay in US dollars. And for customers, it's a little pricey because they don't get the benefits of, getting commissions from associates in their volume. So the question was, why do we need to pay in US dollars?
okay, good
Life
question.
is so expensive, right?
Sure, and that's a valid question. So from a customer's perspective, they're not an associate. So from a customer's perspective, they're just looking at the dollar value or the impact of the dollar. One of the things that I tell people is that often when you're buying things, it is manufactured in the States, and when you see it in the store, it's already been converted to Canadian dollars. So it's only because you're seeing it at the American cost. Then I would bring up right away, would you like to find a way that you can have your product paid for? Like, would you like to know that there's okay, then I get right back to the value. So when you take, for example, they're taking Celgevity. What have you noticed since you've taken it, and you're listening for things like, improved sleep, more mental focus, like, excuse me, less aches and pains, more energy, those kinds of things. So when people share that with you, it's about getting them connected to what is it that they're experiencing. And did they receive from you the 90-day tracking sheet? Did they have that they're actually consciously aware of, from 1 to 10, how did I feel for the beginning after week 1, week 2, week 3? And then if they've gone through that they actually can compare where they were. Who do you know? Who do you know that has said to you the same thing? I've got aches and pains. I can't sleep at night. That they've just got things that they're just brain fog. Oh my gosh, I can't get over how many people are talking lately about brain fog, about that they're just worn out. So get them, anything that they say, it's really your cue to ask more questions, find out their experiences. What was it like before? What is it like now? And who do they know that could also benefit? Because instead of, and thank you, if you refer your 2 or 3 friends to me, I would really, really be grateful. But you can also have them as your customers. And then there you go. You're going to have your product paid for. So what else would you add to that, Marie-Paul?
Well, I want to thank you, because that's exactly what I did. And, you know, he brewed on it for a little while. And then he came back to me a couple of weeks ago. He said, you know what? He said, let me use the product for a couple of months to see how it's working on me. And I might as well be an associate. And if I'm going to pay the product, I might as well get paid for it and get commissions, right? So him and his wife, they're both on the products, and you know, I may have an associate from them in a near future. So
beautiful, beautiful.
It's how you position it.
Yes.
I guess is the word I'm looking for.
And you planted a seed and let them process it, let them imagine it rather than cramming it down their throat. That's brilliant. Well done. Well done. So yeah, and here now they've got an associate. So yeah, great. Anybody else have anything that they want to add as we're addressing this? Okay, onward and upward. Next topic is challenges that you encounter regarding yourself. So here we are now, we're in the business, whether we've been in the business a few months, a few years, many years, whatever it is. Back to the very beginning, that what we talked about as you're prospecting. Number 1, time. I don't have enough time. People find that they just can't carve out a half an hour or an hour a day. There's a book. It's Win the Hour, Win the Day, Win the Hour, Win the Day. And it's by Chris, K-R-I-S Ward, Chris Ward. If you haven't read that book, it's a brilliant book on managing your time. And it's about taking these little windows. And that's actually from this book that we came up with the idea of doing the 30-minute blitzes. And they started off as 15-minute blitzes. So what we do is at 7 in the morning, 9:30, at 12 noon, and at 7 p.m., that anybody that wants to gets on one of the Zoom groups, and that we're actually doing a concentrated, it's really concentrated, no distractions, for 15 minutes, 30 minutes, or as the book says, eventually you get it to an hour, that you just are laser focused. And it's amazing what you can get accomplished in that time. So if that's something that you are struggling with, Win the Hour, Win the Day. It's a time management for small business. It's a 4-week productivity plan. Just a brilliantly written book. So that's time. That's about time. Number 2, they don't have the money to start. I think I addressed that earlier. Honestly, you're already an associate. You know where you wanted to go. You know what your dreams are. You know what the potential is with Max. That's when I talk about, again, if you got 3 TVs, sell one. Honest to goodness, do something, because and really, once you're an associate, you have a way to earn the income. You don't really need to sell anything except just get focused on building your business. Number 3, there's not enough people, that they don't know enough people, or they've run out of their people, that warm circle, what we talk about, that hot market. Connect with people in organized groups. Last week, Erica did a brilliant training on what she does with business networking groups, that she goes to different groups. And so go to different business meetup groups and connect with people. One of the things that she said was that as you're going there, instead of just showing up, that in advance, call the organizer and say, I'd like to donate a gift for the event. And so sometimes they're often like a luncheon, and you could bring in a little, whatever you decide it to be. It could be $25 for a 1 week worth of Celgevity. It could be $50 for the trial pack, the Celgevity 3 infused 3 ATP. You could just make it 3 infused. You can make it 3 ATP, whatever it is that you choose. But that gives you the opportunity to stand up and introduce your product to the group. You get to actually say a little bit about it. So now you're going to mingle with people individually, but you also get to say it as a little formal infomercial, we sometimes call it. One of the other things that people do is, I know that I remember hearing from Paul. He was brilliant when he came up with the idea. I was living in Ottawa. He knew that the Philippines was booming with Macs, and he joined a Filipino business group in Ottawa. So here was this Caucasian that immersed himself with a Filipino community that was business minded, so much so that he became the president of this organization, and he met people and he sponsored people from that. So you can actually go into different communities and get involved, whether it is something, you know, from African descent or Hispanic descent, and just get yourself immersed in those networks. I mean, it's so easy. So it's not just about the people that you know in your circle, it's putting yourself out there for groups that already exist. And also it's your everyday encounters. It's such an easy conversation to have with anyone if you're thinking about it all the time. When you go into your bank, I just have 2 new prospects from banking that I've done recently. And another one was was thinking about, where did I meet some of my customers that I didn't know? I was once on a ferry going from Vancouver Island to Vancouver. I went to do a presentation for Mireille in our team, and I went out west. And when I was coming back, I met somebody and we just chatted, and she has been a customer now for years. Your waitress, your waiter, a salesperson that you're dealing with, the repair guy that comes into your home. I had somebody that came into my house, and I think it was something to do with tuning up my furnace. Anything, anybody, you could talk to anybody. So take those moments day by day, your everyday encounters. Uber drivers, I mean, we've all heard of people that talked about that. So yeah, they're easy to do. It's whether you're in tune to start the conversation. And does anybody have anything that they're stuck with? Go or have anything to add? No, I was going to say either stuck with it, you don't know how to start, or anything that you want to add. So go ahead, Marie Paul, add to that for sure.
I got a couple of things. When I was living in Ottawa, like I started to get involved with the African community, and I said, okay, what's the best way to get involved with the African community? Because you're the white gal that's coming in, and you know, who is she, right? So I figured the best way was to go to church, to an African church. And I did. I went to a Nigerian church. And the first couple of weeks, it was a real culture shock.
But they're fun, aren't they?
Because, well, it was really difficult for me. First of all, time-wise, it starts at 9 o'clock and it ends after 1 o'clock with a luncheon. Or, you know,
yeah.
But, you know, I got to talk. They even invited me to make a presentation in the church, you know, which was something else.
Wow.
I was under divine
wow.
inspiration there. But, you know, so you take the opportunities where it comes, right? So another thing, today, I did something special for myself. I've been a Toastmasters for over 20 years. And when I left Ottawa, I had stopped for the period of COVID. So it was 2 years since I belonged to a club. So today, as a gift to myself, I decided to join a club in Toronto. And talking to the president of the club. We were, talking about, where I was coming from, what I was doing and all that stuff. And then she says, oh, really? With your expertise in health and wellness and coaching and mentoring, you would be a real good fit for a project that one of the members is going to be doing, for our final project. And it involves health and wellness. I says, absolutely. So you never know. And not only that, by joining Toastmasters, yes, Luz, it's an excellent way to increase or improve your public speaking, getting rid of the ums and ahs that I still have. And that's one of the reasons I'm going back, is to polish those things and get rid of them, because we're speaking in public all the time, especially on Zooms and things like that. So being new to Toronto, I don't know anybody else except Max Associates. So for me, it's important to get out there in groups, and maybe I'll go to another African church here in Toronto, to meet some new people.
What great ideas, because of course at Toastmasters, don't you get up and you speak on a subject that you're passionate about, and you get to do it over and over and over like that. Yeah, so like brilliant that you took that on. It's really like putting yourself out there, and it's something that you want, you're taking as a course for self-improvement, but look at the information that you're giving out there to everybody repeatedly. Brilliant.
And the good thing is that a lot of your speeches, you could do it on different aspects of the business or your products. Take one aspect and do a speech. It's 5 to 7 minutes, right? So anyway, that's going to be my opening lines. You put a great idea for a lot of us out there. I used to belong to BNI, Business Networking International, and we every week, we met once a week, but everybody had to get up and do a 1-minute infomercial. And I think it was maybe 3 times a year we had to do like a 15-minute presentation. So, but that's great. You get to do that every single week. Well done. Good idea. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you. Yes. Okay, number 4, unless anybody has anything else that they want to add that they want to share with everyone. Okay, we're good. No, nothing's popped up in the chat. Number 4, if you as an associate think that the products are too expensive, then you need to up your belief. There's no other thing for me to say. You obviously don't, or somebody's new, but so they don't value the product enough. They don't value what it's doing for them, or they need more knowledge. They just, they need to find out about other people's personal experiences. We used to meet at hotels, and we used to have conventions that we met face to face. And I'm telling you, the stories that people shared, oh my stars, I'll never forget them, because whether, it was a dog that had arthritis and couldn't go up the stairs, and the woman said it worked for her, so she started giving it to her dog, and he was like tearing up the stairs after she literally carried him for a year, but then got to the point that she couldn't. Or whether it was somebody that had a condition that was really life-threatening. When you hear these stories, or I've had 2 people that have shared that they were in bed for 20 years, and now that they've been on the Max products, they are up and out of bed. I can't even imagine 20 years in bed. I can't even think about what that's like. So because we're not doing these face-to-face meetings like we used to do, we've started, and I think everybody's aware of it, the Active Product Experience Facebook group. So yourself, if you're not on it, go in that under Facebook into groups and get yourself on the Active Product Experience group. Get in there and see some of those testimonies. We're building them up more and more. Get your customers to join that. That's where your belief goes up. Tammy had somebody that she told me that had been on the products on and off for years, and more off than on. And when she went in that group, when Tammy brought her in, she's like, wow, she was just so moved, and it just reignited her. So thank you for putting it on there, Active Customers Experience. Thank you so much for doing that, Marie Paul. So yeah, too expensive is just like not enough belief. Number 5, are you committed? And we talked about that.
if you're committed and you set your goals and you really envision this for yourself, get on those 15 or make them 30-minute blitzes that we talked about, you know, the 7 a.m., 9:30, whatever. Just get on those and just try them and just see how much you accomplish in a short time. And same with your team. If your team comes to you with any of those challenges, the more that you overcome these for yourself, the more that you're going to see that by setting an example for your team and by working through them, you will again change your position. When they come to you with this dilemma of this or that, you got an answer, bing, bang, boom. I've been there, I've done that. This is what I did differently. This is what I've implemented. Give it a go. You're going to see that it's going to make a difference for them because people watch us. It's not, you know that saying, it's not what we say, it's what we do. So in closing, I just want to leave you with this. Are people's lives better or worse if they're taking Max products? If they're better, do a thumbs up, a hands up. I mean, if you know for yourself or anybody that their lives are better, okay, there's a heart, love it. Okay, thumbs up, all of that. So if their lives are better, then, and we know that they're having better sleep, they've got more energy, they've got less aches and pains, they've got improved mental focus and clarity, and more things that people share with you. If we know that they're better, then really we are giving a gift to someone. It's back to that position of where's your stand? How much do you believe in what you're doing? And how much do you know that you're actually giving people a gift to change their life? So when you come from that challenge is easy. That obstacle is easy to work through. Whatever that objection is, remember, an objection is just an inquiry that they want more information. Give it to them, whatever it is. Whether it's, you know, even the compensation plan, how does it work? How do you get paid? If you're not on boards, learn how to get on boards. Find somebody that's in your upline that can show you how to get that. So much information. It's an app and it's called Boards, and it's brilliant because again, everything's there. Whatever question they have, send them to that because there's an answer. And if you don't know the answer, just get it from somewhere and connect with someone. And again, have another 3-way call with anybody. It doesn't have to be in your team. It's just we all support each other. So we talked about being in the Facebook group, the testimonials that they're listening to. Their belief will just go up and up and up. And it happens for you and it'll happen for them. So remember, we said at the beginning, it's all about who are you being, what are you doing, and then what do you have in the end? And that still goes, it's aligned with, and again, I know this is backwards, but I have this in my office that says, believe, achieve, succeed. So who am I being? I have belief. What am I doing? I'm doing the things that I need to achieve whatever my goals are and whatever that dream life that I have. And in the end, what will I have? I will have success in getting anything, not just for myself, but for others. And I share this with you over and over and over. It's about giving that gift to someone else, because we all know that no matter what challenge or obstacle you're hearing, remember that 90% of people stay awake at night, excuse me, and don't sleep because they're worried about their health for themselves or their loved ones, or they're worried about their financial struggles. We have a solution. We have an answer for both. We have love to pour out to everyone with everything that we have in Max. So I thank you for being on this call. Anybody, again, want to add anything? I'm opening up the floor. Is there anything that you want to add, to say, that either you've got an idea to share or somewhere that you're still like, oh, I can't break through this one, I still feel stuck? Anything that anybody wants to open up with? This is your chance.
Thank you.
Oh, it is my pleasure, and thank you, Marie-Paul, for participating. Thank you. So anything that you want to add, Lucy or Luce, anybody?
Oh, it was a good resume. It make the tour of, we made a tour.
Yeah.
And it's always good to repeat and to, it's always, when it is said by different person, always we all have our way to say things, and sometimes it will attract the attention for one, even one little thing, it will help.
Absolutely, absolutely. And again, it's all
Thank
where we're
you.
coming from. Thank you. Again, I know that you, Lucy, have made a huge difference in the world. So I just want to honor and commend you for the lives that you've touched and how many
Everyone
people-
here is doing that. Everyone here, even one person, it's already
Yes,
valuable.
absolutely. We've changed a life forever. Anyway, good night, everyone. Thank you
Bye-bye.
all. Thanks for being part of this. And let's go
On
out.
behalf of everybody, I want to thank you, Jasmine, for sharing your wisdom and your expertise over the years. You're always coming through with excellent ideas. And on behalf of people on Facebook and people here, again, thank you. And I wish you good night to everyone.
Good night. Thanks.
Bye for now.
Love you all. Bye now.